Season 19 is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and this is my first build video of the season. It's going to be a little bit of a rehash of a build that I've used before, but I'm mainly going to be focusing around Nezarec Sin and the new exotic, the Manticore. So I'm going to go through the build. The link will be in the description as always, and I'll go through everything. If you are new here and this is a new build to you, I will put all of these in a playlist as well so you can keep coming back to them. And I'm not really using any seasonal mods apart from one of the early ones that you can get. So yeah, you won't really have to worry about that too much. If you haven't got any of the mods, hopefully you can get them from A to 1. They reset daily. But yeah, let's jump into the build. The first thing that we're going to be focusing on is the Manticore, because this is going to be the primary damage dealer of the build and what you use a majority of time. The other two weapons that I'm using are Taipan, which is a weapon from last season, but any heavy that you really want to use here is up to you. I'd recommend maybe a Void one just to go with the overall synergy of the build. And then for a special, you can go with a shotgun, a grenade launcher here, or anything else that you really want to use. That is a special weapon, even a sniper if you wanted to, but the main focus is around the new weapon, the Manticore. So let's talk about it. First of all, the Manticore is from the Season Pass level 1. It has two unique traits. The first one being Swooping Talons, which is dealing damage while airborne, increases this weapon's damage output. And then the second one is Soaring Fang, dealing damage while grounded, charges the anti-grav repulsors, dealing damage while airborne, extends the anti-grav repulsors. So essentially, I'll show you a demonstration of how this works. You've probably already figured it out yourself, but you do damage with this. You see on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a bunch of the energy that is filled up. You can jump in the air, do damage, and then this is how you're able to keep yourself in the air and continue by doing more and more damage, and the damage actually increases as well. So let's dive into the Voidwalker subclass. This is probably one that you've seen quite a lot before, but if you are new, this is just a quick run through. We're running Vortex Grenade or Scatter Grenade. I quite like to use Scatter Grenade at the moment. It's a lot of fun to mix things up. I have Feed the Void, which is defeat a target with a Void ability to activate Devour, and then anytime you get a final blow, Devour keeps being restored. I then also have Child of the Old Gods. This essentially makes a weakening Void Soul when you cast your Rift. And then if you're running a Healing Rift, you get Grenade and Melee energy back as well, which is fantastic. Let's go through the fragments though. The first one, which is one of the key ones, which is Echo of Undermining. Your Void Grenades weaken targets. This gives you -20 discipline, but this is fantastic because it gives a debuff to the enemies, so you will be able to do even more damage. Combined with Echo of Instability, defeating targets with grenades, which is what we'll be using, gives you volatile rounds, which essentially makes your void weapons do explosions, and it's really fun to use this combo. We then also have Echo of Remnants. I'll probably swap this out, if I was being honest, to something like potentially like Echo of Reprisal. So final blows when surrounded by combatants grant you super energy. We're going to be in there or in and around there quite often. And then lastly, we have Echo of Expulsion. Void ability final blows causes targets to explode. So yeah, a lot of explosions, a lot of scatters going on, and a lot of different combinations there. But let's run through the armor mods and the exotic. Now that we've taken a look at the subclass and the Manticore, we're going to go over the build. This is a general play build, so I'm not going to be using this a lot in endgame. I have other builds for that. I just wanted to make a little really fun combo with the Manticore and Nezarec Sin. Speaking of Nezarec Sin, on this it has Abyssal Extractors. Void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rates. That's with your void weapons and also with your subclass. On here I have Elemental Ordnance, which allows you to make Elemental Wells. I have stacked this 3 times, one on my gauntlets and one on my bond, purely because I want to be able to make more of them. And I also have Bountiful Wells. This will essentially make a whole lot of them whenever I throw out one grenade, which means I'm going to have constant recharge rate from my abilities, and I'm also going to have the Elemental Wells giving me ability energy back, and also Devour is up, and also Font of Might is up, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But yeah, so we've got Elemental Ordnance, Ashes to Assets, which gives you bonus super energy on grenade kills, and Harmonic Siphon, rapid weapon final blows, creates orbs of power matching your subclass. So if I'm using a void weapon and a void subclass, then I'll make orbs of power. On the gauntlets, obviously I just talked about elemental ordnance, but we have 2 momentum transfer, causing damage with your grenade, reduces your melee cooldown, and then you can use your melee, and then, you know, we're going to be getting abilities back so fast with this build. And then here I have 1 seasonal mod, but I won't include it in the build link, purely because it's just what I have on. It's the only one that I've unlocked that is any good at the moment. But yeah, Bountiful Wells will allow you to spawn additionals as elemental wells, which is fantastic. I'll show you that in just a moment. And then we have our probably one of the best mods, which is Font of Might. Picking up an elemental well gives you a 25% damage buff, I believe it is, for a certain amount of time, and we're going to be constantly refreshing this as well, so doing a bunch of extra damage with our void weapons. So you can use it in boss fights with the Taipan or with the Manticore. And then finally we have utility kickstart on our bond, which allows you to get class ability energy when you use a class ability, and then the last copy of elemental ordnance. So yeah, let's quickly run through how the build would actually work. So I will be throwing out my grenade to get me started. To get Devour, I can pick up my volatile rounds. I also have my anti-gravs up as well, so I can jump into the air, float, and do an insane amount of damage, because I'm going to get the extra damage bonus of the Manticore being in the air, which is fantastic. I'm doing it this year. I'm doing like 3k damage, which is pretty damn nutty. Already got my abilities back straight away. My Devour's constantly up, it's constantly refreshing, and I'm just flying through the air. Pretty damn cool. I can even pop out my Rift if I need to, throw out my super, and I'm going to be able to get a lot of stuff back really, really quickly. It's just a super fun build. I've been using it to absolutely shred through a lot of activities, and you can see I'm just waltzing in the air. It's fantastic, and I just love it. You see, I'm able to make 4 elemental wells there, and then almost have everything back when I do a bunch of damage again. Easily done. Just cleared out this entire lost sector with the unstable essence as well, which is fantastic. And I just have ability uptime out of the roof. Another 4 of those, and look how much grenade energy I've just got back, and I've still got everything ticking. Let's talk about my overall thoughts on the build. So as you can see, that's the build. It's super, super fun, and the Manticore just takes it onto another level. I've used a similar variation of this before with Funnel Web and a variety of different void weapons, and the Manticore is pretty damn crazy. The only downside to the Manticore is I haven't got the catalyst yet, and also you need to be careful on some higher end activities when using the Manticore about being in the air a little bit too much, because there's no way to quick cancel it. You have to stop doing damage to go to the floor, so you can get caught out a little bit if you're being a bit overzealous. But yeah, this build is definitely worth trying out for this season. It's relatively easy to make as well if you've got a lot of the mods. As I say, the build link will be in the description, so go and click that. Hopefully it takes you to the right place and you can use it. And if you've enjoyed this video, stay tuned for more content. Make sure you like it, subscribe as always to be notified when I bring up more content, and on the notification bell. As always, this has been Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.